Hi guys, it's me again, the Black Hole from Amo Games. We are at Japanizam in Belgrade in Dom Omladine, and as you can see, here is really crazy right now. So just look at this atmosphere, it's really great. The whole bunch of freaks are here, yeah, gamers and anime fans. Enjoy it. I am currently really enjoying it. A whole bunch of kids right here. Just look at these figures. We are going upstairs. We are at the game room at Japanizam. As you can see, the atmosphere is huge. Currently it is going to be held some tournament in fighting games. Tekken 7, great.
Ne, maturi kabel sa joystick.
And this is Dragon Ball Fighters. Enjoy in this awesome game. Mortal Kombat XL. Naruto Shippuden Stone. Je ovo Shippuden četvorka, izvinite. Gdje sam ovo se top? Ne pogrešim, snimam nešto pa za moju gamersku stranicu pa...
To pero, razbimo. Što te je
Oh, it's a huge fire. Finish. And we killed it.
Prijedlog za to ide zapisničkim stolom.
That's it, guys and girls. I'm going to play some games, some tournament in Tekken 7 and Mortal Kombat X, and see you the next time. This was Japanizam. I'm going to show you next some tribune, some lecture. Okay, see you.
Veku, ali nemaju ovu modernu dokumentaciju kako sad imamo, već su koristeni za neka dela rađene umetnička na drvetu. Tek između dva svetska rata dobijamo nešto što podsjeća na današnju modernu mangu i prvi put stavljaju termini za manga umetnike, mangake. Posle drugog svetskog rata dobijamo modernu mangu koju poznajemo danas, koja je nastala uticajem pre svega Zapada i Amerike. Amerikanci su uticali na mnoge stvari u Japanu, muzike, filmova, animea pa i mange. U Japanu postoje dve struje što se tiče toga koliko sami Japanci cene mange. Neki smatraju da to ima neke umetničke korene iz prošlosti, da to treba čuvati i ceniti, dok drugi smatraju da je to nastalo skroz u uticajem Zapada i da je nešto negativno i nešto što kvari omladinu. Znate već svi da je krajem 80-ih, 90-ih dolazi do tog velikog puma ka zapadu, prevodi se sve više stvari i dobijamo već nešto što liči na ovo danas, gde je maltene svaka manga prevedena bilo u štampanu i bilo u digitalnoj formi.
Sudeći da... Nekonkretno sudeći da mislim da smo smorili našu publiku koliko puta smo pričali o mangama, ali nikad nije dosta, uvijek nešto novo naučite. A sad ćemo da pređemo na manhue, pa će Nemanja nešto više da kaže o toga.
Manhue su kineski stripovi i bukvalno reč manhua, kao što je japanska reč manga znači strip, kineska reč manhua ima istu etimologiju. A s tim što je ranije značilo tu skica, pošto manhua, to jest umetnost kineskog stripa, je više postojala u formi satiričnih stripova i stripova u dnevnim novinama kao što su u Americi redovno objavljivani na zadnjim stranama dnevnih listova. Tek krajem 90-ih godina, kao tako reći odgovor na rastuću popularnost japanske umetnosti, kineska vlast je promovisala svoje publikacije u cilju da suzbije pristup Japancima na njihovo tržište i da pokuša da parira njima po popularnosti, naravno to...
To misliš da nećete čitati avanture Gokua, nego ćete čitati avanture naše slavnog vođe?
Da, to je problem, pogotovo što se tematika manhvi, čemu ćemo pričati više, fokusira više na kinesku istoriju uz zdravu dozu propagande. Tako da ne može se reći da su imali ikakve šanse da pariraju različitih temama koje su Japanci predstavili u svojim stepovima.
U Kini ima dosta tih jakih propagandnih stvari, recimo u Kini je dalje popularno da se snimaju partizanski filmovi, primjerik naših partizanskih filmova gdje oni ratuju sa Japancima, 50-60 snimaju svake godine, čisto da održe tu svest koju oni smatraju da moraju da imaju.
Živela Kina.
U poslednjim godinama vidimo porast popularnosti manhue, koji je u velikoj meri podstaknut popularnošću korisnih stripova, pošto se tržište otvorilo.
Manhua. Manhua originalno je bio izraz, to je i dan danas je izraz za sve vrste crtanja. Da li to bio animirani film, ilustracija, bilo ovako vizualno izražavanje, to je crtanje, je manhua. A takođe, zanimljivo je da je poznat i pod imenom manpilhua, što je, meni bi iskreno nejasno zašto, ali okej. U svakom slučaju, manhue su najmlađe od tri, da kažemo, načina crtanja azijskih stripova i oni su dobili krenuli su da se razvijaju 1910. godina nakon što je krenula amerikanizacija Koreje. Polako, ali sigurno, kada su se zvanično i oformili svoje pisme i sve ostalo, krenuli su da se, da kažem, malo eksperimentišu sa svojom zemljom i da pokušavaju da popularizuju i da naprave nešto svoje, da nekako zajedno sa Japanom i sa Kinom se uzdižu i da dobiju neki svoj izraz. Ono što je definitivno je da je manhva od 2000-ih krenula sa webtoonovima, što je njima dalo ekstremnu popularnost i su bili prvi koji su krenuli masovno da proizvode webtoonove, a 2014. je definitivno onako pik njihove popularnosti, jer tada su krenule baš da se, prvo korejska kultura je krenula da bude jako popularna, pa su ljudi zahtevni krenuli da se interesuju i za manhve.
Okay, so the question was, if you didn't hear, is that why was it a sin in the Western civilization? That's a very, very complicated question. It's it's quite complicated because this raises a question: are there fundamental differences between the Chinese culture and the Western culture? And there are scholars who like to point out crucial differences, and there are scholars who like to say that human culture is basically made of the same things but in different combinations. So it's quite, there are some scholarly research done on this topic and it's quite hotly debated. Those who like to say that there are fundamental characteristics of different civilizations like to say that Chinese imagine the sphere of humanity and the sphere of the divine as inherently harmonious, while the Western civilization imagined the sphere of humanity and the sphere of the gods as inherently hostile. toward each other. So in Chinese it's pretty natural to think that there is men can become gods and gods can descend to live with man, and there is a lot of transition going on between the sphere of the mortal and the sphere of the divine, while in Western civilization there is usually a very strict division between the two and a lot of hostility. For example, I mentioned the Mesopotamian Noé mythology, that the flood, the demiurge, and the story, the Mesopotamian story says that the gods were simply annoyed by the humans because they were too noisy. So the great gods decided to wipe out humanity in a flood because they were too noisy. So it shows you the level of hostility, how they imagined the world of man and the world of gods to be. And some scholars say that this is why immortality was quite acceptable for the Chinese and why it became regarded as a sin in the Western religions. But of course there are always exceptions to such grand categorizations, so it's a complicated question, but I think I answered the bulk of it. Yeah, it's not an easy question and there's no consensus on it. So, the Chinese wanted to attain immortality, and there were a lot of occult practices on the topic. The first text we know appeared in the 4th century before Common Era, and that's pretty early. That's pretty early. Now, I don't know which, anyone have read a bit about Chinese culture? Anyone interested in Chinese culture here? Okay, like anyone practicing martial arts here? A few, okay, not much. So, you might have read a lot of things about Chinese civilization being 5,000 years old and a lot of inventions being dated to the 3rd century before Common Era. Now, that's mostly not true, right? There is some truth in it, but it's mostly untrue. Chinese, just like any nation, have had the good practice of the more they thought about history, the more they invented for the earlier phases. So when the Chinese saying that this was invented in the 3rd century BC, they're usually referring to mythical heroes whom they praised in the timeline. But this is not real history. So the real history of China goes, metal and bronze appeared in the early 2nd millennium BC, so around the 19th, 18th century, maybe the 17th century. So in a sense, Chinese civilization is a millennia younger than the Egyptian or the Mesopotamian. That's important to know. And the first writings we have from China are actually from the late Shang dynasty, from the Anyang period. They are from the 13th century only. So the 13th century, that's from ancient ways, is pretty late actually. And that's when we have the first writings. Of course, by that time we have a completely evolved writing system. So probably they have writing from an earlier time, we just don't have any archaeological remains. So the Chinese were in Bronze Age for around the 8th century BCE, and they adopted Iron Age afterwards that. It's a question that is relevant or not, I mean the interest of iron. But that shows you that the 4th century BCE was already pretty much the formative stage of Chinese civilization. So Confucius is usually dated to the late 5th, early 4th century by realistic datings. So 4th century BCE was really the beginning of Chinese philosophy, of the Chinese, many things that we consider normal about the Chinese civilization just evolved around that time. That was the Warring States period. So that's pretty early in the Chinese history. And so they had various practices to attain immortality. Some of these were like exercises. There were already a lot of breathing exercises. And that remained in a long time. So you might know that many martial arts, especially Japanese ones, like to make big shouts when they fight, the so-called kiai shout. these are related to breathing exercises and how to manipulate the body with breathing. So that's pretty ancient. And of course there were a lot of practices, the meditation and things like that. So they had all these, and they said that if you follow these, you can become immortal, you can become like a spirit, you can see the future without divination, that's a funny thing, and you can fly. And no, not like Superman, flying is usually considered as a shamanistic aspect, so, because, you know, shamans are said to fly to the upper world, usually by some mind-affecting substance, by consuming some mind-affecting substance. Even alcohol can work, and a lot of drugs as well are used in shamanistic practices. So that's why flying is usually associated with shamanism. So pretty early we have this idea of wanting to become immortal. And how to achieve that, there were several ideas. One of the most prominent one is the chi, or in Japanese it's called the ki. Who have heard about the chi or ki? Okay, pretty much a few. There is a lot of misconceptions because this is a very difficult concept. One, I would like to say that it is often said that it's kind of a life force or life energy. It is not. I mean, not in the sense of energy, because that's a term that's very Western. That's actually not how the Chinese thought about. Qi was, first of all, considered something like a fog. So like something that's material, but very, very light, very gaseous form of material. And they saw that Qi condenses into solid forms, and everything is made up of Qi. Another meaning of Qi was anger. So, yes, it's like the dark side of the force. Channel your anger. Even today in Chinese, if someone gets angry, they say Shang Qi, that is give birth to Qi.